All right. Well, hello. My name is Joel. For the people in the classroom, I sit in the back to control the stuff in the front. So, hello, welcome. You are all, and I have people online, so that's why I'm back here, so they can hear me through the microphone. My name is Joel. I'll be your instructor for Vector Graphics, Adobe Illustrator. I love this program. I use it every day, darn near every day. It is the #1 program used in graphic design. So it is very essential. It starts out a little difficult, but then it gets easier and easier and easier. We're going to work through projects together. This is an 8-week, we call it an accelerated course. We're meeting on Mondays and Wednesdays. Each Monday is a unit, Wednesday is a unit. Monday's a unit, Wednesday's a unit. So it's condensed. We'll get through it. We've always gotten through it. It's going to take some work on your end and some work on my end, but we're all going to get it. We're going to learn Illustrator. It's going to be fun. I enjoy it. I love it. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over Blackboard a little bit, talk to you about how I have it set up, what you're going to see, what you're going to do, how things are laid out. Then we have a 2-minute project. That's your attendance assignment, which is very easy. And then I'm going to spend approximately a half an hour on the 3 assignments that you're going to start working on for next week, Wednesday. So the way it's going to be laid out is if we meet on a Wednesday, your projects are due the following Wednesday. When we meet on the Monday, they're due the following Monday. And that way we just kind of keep things in order, and it keeps things a little bit spaced out because it does get a little tight. You know, you'll be spending some time on this. As I've said, if you are working from home, you need to have a student copy, a student subscription to Adobe Illustrator. It'd probably be best if you're in the program to have the whole Creative Cloud. If you're working here at MATC, we have gorgeous brand new computers, double screens, drawing screens, and a tablet, not a tablet. It's called a tablet, but it's a mouse tablet. High-end professional. This is what you see in Design Studio. So I encourage everybody to come in and start to learn these tools that you would actually use in a Design Studio. It makes it easier. You have bigger screens. You're not squinting at a laptop, trying to struggle. So I highly encourage everybody to come on in. I'm going to start knocking out the Blackboard stuff. So let's review Blackboard. I'm going to kind of do it in reverse here. And I'll go over everything we got. MATC Help and Resources. There's a ton of resources here at MATC to help you out, no matter what the problem may be. There's fast funds, like if you emergency funds. There's, you know, help with accommodations, meaning like if you're struggling with something, you can go to the accommodations office. They'll try to help you navigate what you need to do to get through the classes that you're taking. Use it. You know, you can click on these. There's even more online at MATC. Click on them, go through them. I can't, you know, if I were to go through them, it'd take a whole 2 days. So know that MATC has everything here to help you out. So use the resources and don't be afraid to ask. All right, so that's one big one. Just use the resources. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, the end of the last semester, it was like second or third last day, and there was a group from the teachers union, and they're at a fast fund setup. They were giving out laptop computers to students, and all you had to do was walk down there, show them your ID, show that you were in a class, and they gave you a laptop. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for things that are happening on campus and around to help you out. All right. This is the drag out point: syllabus, grading, course outline, and use of AI. I say drag out point because I have to do this for every class, and it really is. This is the 4th time for me this week, and it's kind of always the same stuff. All right, the syllabus is here. The syllabus is like the little contract about the course. If you run into trouble with something, you're just double check what the syllabus says. This is verbatim, copied and pasted from what the college tells us we have to do. Just read through it. Read through it at some point, or if you're not worried about it, don't read it. It doesn't hold much unless you're like, I do something and you're like, I need to make a complaint, which I highly recommend you do if something's not going right, is you can go through the complaint process and whatnot, or if you're upset about a grade or something, just talk to me, but then I can work with you, stuff like that. But we should never have that problem. So I kind of build on not having those problems. The better one to look at is projects and grading. So for this is what we're going to do all half a semester, because we're only together for 8 weeks. You will be doing, for the beginning of the semester, you're going to be doing lettering projects, some typographic projects, and design missions. These are to get you going. You're going to be repeating stuff, but with new information each week. So the idea is the more you do the same thing over and over, the more ingrained you get, and it'll just come naturally to you, and you'll start being like, oh, I've done this a ton of times. I know how to do it. So this isn't a course about like, you get it once and you're done, and they're like, wait, I did this one thing 8 weeks ago. I don't remember what I did. Hopefully we're going to just continually kind of repeat and do stuff and try out new stuff, but always repeating, so we're not falling backwards. And then this little quizzes, don't worry, I'll get to that. The quiz is the way I take attendance. I have students who are online, virtual, and in class. It's the way I take attendance. Don't worry about it. I'll get to it. You'll be like, oh, whatever. This is the grading. No worries there. This is the scale. And if you want to know, this is the week by week breakout. So, or not week by week, every session. So it's like, this is Wednesday, session 1 is Wednesday, session 2 is Monday, Wednesday, it just alternates back and forth. And it's kind of like, as you can see, there's a repeat going on, like you do 3, you do 3, you do 2. And so we'll all get through it. You can spend some time on this class. It'll be fun though. We're gonna do good. The grading rubric. All of my assignments are written out in a way of like, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do this. So I can grade based on, did you do those steps? And then the creativity comes later, which I can kind of see and note. I've been doing this long enough. I can see what's going on. So for example, if a fictitious way to go about it is if I say step 1 is craft 3 sketches utilizing only 2 sans serif letters, how can I grade from that? Well, has the student generated 3 sketches? Okay. Did the student use sans serif fonts? Okay. And has the student adhered to the use of only 2 letters? Done. So I can really just kind of pick and be like, well, I see you didn't do this part. This didn't happen. And that's how I can grade the project. So and it's pretty clear on the assignments. There'll be discussions, which means you're going to look at what other students have done and see how they're progressing compared to how you're progressing. You may see something a student has done in their project and be curious about it. You can ask them questions. And this is all done. This is like a critique, but it's all done in Blackboard. Not every assignment has discussions, but you need to do the discussions. I'll say 100% of the time, the discussion is comment on 2 other students' work. So you open up 2 other things, 2 other students, and you write back to them like, oh, hey, I like the use of, your type. I like the use of this. Hey, how did you do that? So you're looking to see what other people are doing. And that is 12% of your grade. Meaning, if you don't do this, the highest grade you could get on an assignment is a B. If you do the discussion, it becomes an A. So think of it as a full letter grade. Now, late assignments. Here's the big one. Graphic design as a profession is all based on timelines. You talk to a client, the client says, we need it by this day. You have to have it done by that day, because your work then goes to somebody else, and that work goes out, and then it gets printed and published or whatever. And it's all based on due dates and a timeline based on bigger pictures. Think about if you created a poster for an event, but you did the poster late. Well, who's going to find out about the event? Then the event has very little people coming because you didn't do your poster on time. And then that event fails because not enough people knew about it because you handed in your poster late and it didn't get printed on time. So I'm very strict on assignments and due dates. So a late assignment gets a full grade reduction. All assignments are due on midnight the week after they're assigned. So today's Wednesday. Anything that I give you today is due next week, Wednesday at midnight. At 12:01, it becomes a late assignment. That would be Thursday, 12:01 the next day. So you got to stay up on top of things. Use your time wisely. Know how long it's going to take you to do stuff. And I'll have another one. It's just like spread the work out. Don't try to do it all in one day. Spread things out. And then I don't accept any assignments 7 days after the due date. The session, the whole area closes out. I don't accept anything after 7 days after the due date. That is giving you way more time than you need to complete assignments. And it just closes out, and then it's just done. You accept the fail grade that you would get if you don't turn it in on time. With that, I'll move. I'm going to skip around. With that is the how to reach me. If something comes up in your life and you are like, oh, this accident, a sickness, this or that or the other, tell me when it happens, not after it happens. All you need to do is send me an email, use Blackboard messaging, whatever. Tell me before, not after, or during, oh, I'm feeling sick. I just send a text, be like, I'm deathly ill. I can't get the work done, but I'll have it done by said date. And I will be like, oh, okay, get better. I hope you feel better. Yep, we all get sick. But you have to let me know. If you turn it in 5 days late and then be like, yeah, I was sick for a while. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me before it was due? It's like a job, think of it like a job. You tell your boss you're sick before, you just don't not show up, So, but you can reach out to me in 100 different ways. And you should stay in contact with me. Always let me know what's going on, turning things in, this, that. So assignment specific discussion boards, you can talk to me there. You can email me at any time. I always check my email. I'm checking all the time. When I'm on campus, it's usually open. I check. I don't always keep it open, but I'm checking a lot. Enough. I have virtual office hours. When are they? When you need me to be there for you. I don't set up just a specific Monday from 12 until 2 because you might not be available that day. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can find a time to meet with me. I'll squeeze you in. I can do it after hours. I can do it whenever. You just got to email me and be like, I want to chat. And I'll be like, okay, when can you chat? These are my times. These are your time. Whatever. We'll set it up. We'll get it set up as soon as we can. I do it all the time. I think it works out great. Because sometimes you'll be like, I need to chat. And I'll be like, I'm available right now. And you'll be, oh my God. Okay, let's jump into it. So you can just email me about that. Or, GChat, which is part of the email system here at MATC. It's just what is it? Text messaging, but through Google. And then you can call or text. Here's the number. Let me know who you are, though. I don't answer my phone. It goes to my cell phone. I don't answer it if it doesn't say who you are. So leave a message. Hey, this is so-and-so from your Illustrator class. I have a question about this assignment. Boom, I'll get right back to you. Text me. Let me know who you are, kind of what you're inquiring about, so I can have it and I know what I'm, getting into. Oh, I have a question about project 3. I'll run to a computer and open up project 3 and then text you back and be like, okay, it says this and do it. So tons of ways to get in contact with me and work with me. And then that way you shouldn't have to worry about so much about late stuff. Stay in contact. Though if you're habitual with it, I'll cut you off too. If you're like every week you're sick or every week there's a problem, I'll be like, okay, now it's too much. So there is a fine line there. Use of AI use in the graphic design program. I'm not too worried about it in this class because I have very specific things I want you to do. I don't think anything that we're going to be doing would benefit you in any way of using artificial intelligence to try to cheat your way through. You won't be writing anything. So that's out. You'll be following kind of very specific instructions. And I don't think the AI would accept them and be able to create your vector graphic. And then it would be just too much. You'd spend more time trying to use this. This is more for advanced classes later on. So how am I doing? 8 minutes left. So that's that. Any questions so far from anybody? All right, I'm gonna keep rolling. All right, then we get into studio sessions. We're at session 1. As when Monday comes around, session 2 will open. Wednesday 3 will open, and then at those times, those 7 days after, they'll close out. So at the most, I think you have about 4 sessions will be showing at once. That's just to keep things clean and clear for you. So there's not like 40 sessions open and you're like, I don't know what was going on when. It'll be nice and easy. There you go. All right. This is based on every college in America, basically. And this is the time expectations for a 3-credit course. Well, this is, yeah. So 3-credit course is about equal to 8 hours a week. You're taking a 3-credit course in 8 weeks, which means you're doubling your time. So we're going to spend, this top one is more like 3 to 4 hours in class, and you'll probably be spending 12-ish hours maybe on homework. I don't think it'll be that bad once we get rolling, but don't think you're going to be able to like do all the work in one day and understand it and do it. You really need to, and I put this in here, spread the work out over the whole week. I set up assignments in a way that it's like small, medium, and large. So like you can knock out the small one day and feel good about it, and then do the medium one day, maybe work on that 2 days, and then have the longer one you could work over a couple days. So I have it so you can kind of move around and feel like you're always kind of getting something done. I just don't have like one giant project per session in that it'll inundate you. There's a lot of little things and you just kind of keep rolling. So, yep. And that's simply because this is an 8-week course and not a 16-week course. So we do 2 weeks in 1 week. This is the rubric again, just so you have another area. I may use this setup here. This is a form that I have made, and it just makes it easier. I can send it, I'll send it, and it'll have check marks on like, you know, did you set up your bleed right, your margin right, your crop marks? We'll talk about this more as we develop as designers in this course. There are some things, there's like one area that you'll really kind of need to know this, but every assignment you'll be using bleed, margin, crop mark, and it just, instead of me typing this out in discussion boards to you, I can just kind of show you like boom, boom, boom. So yeah. Is there any questions so far? Mute. All right. This first week, questions, comments, or concerns. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I won't scroll down. And, well, maybe I can answer. Oh, no, I answered this. Okay. Let me know right away. Like, this is your out of the gate, like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I'll get back to you. Like, let me know. It's all good. All right. Session 1. I'll go through it, and then we're going to kind of just jump on in and start using Illustrator. I think I'm perfectly on my little schedule that I had set up for today. And then just note in the future, because I don't have to do this beginning part, we'll be spending more time on Illustrator, less time talking about the ins and outs of the course. All right, session 1, attendance. This is how I take attendance. There's a little mini quiz, 5 questions about graphic design. Here's the fun part. I don't care how you answer the questions. Like, I mean, get them right, but you can use the internet. I just use the internet. This is making you get on, you're activating something, you're looking up something, you answer 5 questions, boom, that's your attendance. Attendance is important at MATC for several reasons. The college has a policy. If you don't attend the first 2 sessions of your course, you will be dropped from that course. Because then after that, financial aid is handed out. They want to make sure that students who are attending also will get financial aid. You'll get dropped later on if there's other problems due to attendance problems. So this is easy. This is how you do your attendance. And then you're just left alone. Like, great, all right, you do this, you're done. And this is how easy they are. And I'll just do it. Question 1. What does hierarchy in design help with? Well, I could just copy that and paste it into Google if I want and just hit return. I know the answer. Organizes elements by importance. Printing files, no. Font licensing, no. Guiding the viewer's attention seems like the correct one. If it says organize elements by importance, and then boom, do it, continue, move on, answer all 4, you're done. Save it, close it, get an A. It'll take you 5 minutes. I put in 15. It should only take you 5 minutes. And then you have every session, you basically have a guaranteed A on your grade book. I didn't really talk about that. Oh yeah, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna jump up to the top. I kind of forgot about this. Content is where you find everything for the course. There's a calendar if you choose to use it. It's a little bit weird, but it does have when everything is due, stuff like that. And it will populate the more we move through. I think if we go to February, it might not. It just shows when our class is, but not the assignments because they haven't been released yet. Announcements. I rarely use announcements except for the first class. I hope everybody read it. I hope you just didn't ignore that pop-up when it read. This has all the info you need to know. Again, if you're working from home, you need your own copy of Illustrator. If you come in on class, you can use the ones that we have here. And I also highly suggest you get a mouse. If you're working from home, or if you plan on working from home also, don't use that tiny trackpad on the computer and expect you're going to be a proficient graphic designer. You'll need a mouse. You're going to be doing stuff where I'm going to be like, even today, I'll be like, okay, you're going to hold down Shift and Option and click and move something. Holding down Shift and Option while trying to click and move something on the trackpad is darn near impossible. Unless you have like double jointed fingers, like really cool, like they can go all different directions, which I doubt anybody really has. You'll need a mouse, and it's just a standard. It's like, yeah, it's just a standard. And like I said, if you come here, instead of a mouse, you can use a pen as your mouse. It's amazing. We have all the high-end graphic design stuff here for you. You know, why drive around in a Ford when you could get driven around in a limousine? This is the limousine of setups here at MATC. Use them. So I hope you all read that. Discussions. This is another way to get to some of the assignments, but you shouldn't really ever have to really go here. You can go directly through the actual assignment link. So no worries about that one. Your grade book will populate as you grade and as assignments are added. Your current grade will always be current. I don't wait and like grade like once every 2 months and then, you know, you're like all surprised about stuff. I grade as soon as I can for all projects. If it's a project that doesn't include a discussion, I grade it sooner because I'm not waiting for you. Sometimes if you're the first person to complete an assignment that includes a discussion, you have to wait for other students to start handing stuff in. Does that make sense? And so I wait until everybody's done with those just to make sure you all had time to go back and open up something else from somebody and look at their work and compare it. But you'll never be waiting on a grade from me. And I comment back on every assignment. The best thing you want to hear from me is like, this looks great. And I leave it at that. Like, I'm not going to go into detail about why it looks great. You did great. Like, continue doing what you're doing. If it's not great, I don't really say that, but I just point out like this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, and this needs to be fixed. And then you can do that. But the great part about that, which I'm going to jump around, is in every session, there's a mid-session project review. So that's like, before you turn it in, you can turn it in here. I'll look at it, tell you what to fix to make it perfect, and then you turn it in for a perfect assignment. That's the way, like an art director would work with you in the real world. You'd work on something, you're like, hey, how does this look? I'll write back, it's looking great. Why don't you shift this over? Why don't you center this or make this look better? And then you just do it and then you turn it in. I check these Monday through Friday as much as I can. There'll at least be one round every day, sometimes twice. And then I do try to check on Saturday and Sunday, but I can't always check on Saturday and Sunday, but I try to. But you always just, hey, how's this looking? The only caveat to the mid-session review is don't ask me how this looks at 10 p.m. the night it's due. I won't be looking. I'll be sleeping. Like, I don't have to stay up till midnight. So like, if you wait until the very last minute, you're like, oh, you never got back to me. I'll be like, you posted at 10 p.m. and the assignment was due at midnight. Like, what did you expect to have happen? Like, I'll check it in the morning and then it's going to be late. So in advance, this is like the best way to work. Like, I did it a couple days in advance. You send it here, you put it here, I check it, and I'll be like, great, turn it in, or I'll tell you a couple things to fix. So that's always for grading. That's great. Messages, this is a great way to get a hold of me. You just click on new message, type it out to me. It goes through Blackboard and I get a notification. Let me know what's going on. That's a great way. If you don't want to open up Gmail through the MATC, that's a great way. Though I will say, check your email frequently from MATC and make sure that teachers aren't trying to contact you or telling you about canceled things or other stuff. Everything goes through the MATC email, and it actually college policy is it all has to. If you're like, oh, I wish it just could go through my personal email, then have everything forwarded. But note that if you write from your personal email, it gets blocked coming into MATC. So it's like all the college stuff has to stay grouped up. So just kind of know that. You're like, I sent you an email and you never responded. I'll be like, where, when? And you'll be like, well, I used my personal email. I'll be like, it got blocked. That's why. Like, you have to use MATC email for that. And don't worry about analytics or groups. I don't deal with that stuff. So, all right. Are we still on track? I know there's like a lot of back and forth, but a lot of stuff in one day. All right. All right. So, to do the attendance, do today before midnight. It'll take you a couple minutes after class. Just knock it out, get it done. Know it's done. Know I can turn in your attendance for the day. A few of these will have little lecture files. Then I talked about the mid-session project review. And when you click on these, if you're like, how do I upload? As soon as you click on type a post, this stuff shows up, and then it's always add an attachment. And that's what you do. You can be like, hey, check this out. Look. And then you add your attachment. It's pretty standard, on how to upload stuff, but we'll talk about it more. Yeah, and then we'll go over lettering expressions, typographic challenges, and the design mission for the day. These are estimated ETD, estimated design time. So this might take you an hour at first, but later on and a couple of weeks in, it's going to take you like 30 minutes. You know, like everything's going to reduce in time, but I keep that, you know, this is starter times. So this might take you 2 hours. This might take you 3 hours. So kind of plan your time accordingly and know in your head what kind of worker you are. Oh, I work a little bit slower. You may need to add a little time. Or if you're experienced in Illustrator, you may be able to knock these out. Because you're like, oh, I know Illustrator, I've taken it before. So, all right. Let's look at Illustrator. This is the Illustrator breakout. It's the icon is an A and an I, Adobe Illustrator. That's what it looks like. I'm using 2026. You could use whatever version you want. It really shouldn't matter for Illustrator. Illustrator is very back compatible, it's called. So you just, meaning like you can open really old files in Illustrator and it doesn't bug out. InDesign is a whole different story though, but Illustrator is really good and it's the way it works. When you open, I think, let's just close that and reopen. That is the initial opening. It will either open at home and there might be like this crap up and you're like, oh, how do I just hide suggestions so you don't see it. You can save all your files. It's when you dig in, all of the Adobe programs have file saving systems. But if you're at school, we don't have them. If you're at home, you do. Yes, it's really messed up. It has to do with how the state buys the Adobe software for the school. Don't worry about it though. But this shows you stuff that you've worked on, stuff that you're working on. And if you organize in folders, you can do this as well. That's kind of like back-end stuff that you learn once you're rolling. I want to teach you how to use the program and not teach you how to use maybe like the whole Adobe suite. We'll get to it over time. So with that said, I'm going to kind of start with the first project and then show you how we open it and whatnot. So, and it just gives me a baseline for you guys. That's why. So lettering expressions. You are going to create 3 words, but you're going to define the word by how you create the word. It'll make more sense in a minute. But every assignment, I have a document creation and then the design process and what you're going to do. I'm just going to follow this document creation and I'm going to go slowly and I'm going to teach you how to set up your first file in Illustrator. And then when it opens, I will then show you how I want things set up. So nice and big, this big blue dot is new file. And I'm just simply going to click on new file. Then all this craziness comes up. Don't worry. We're going to worry about over here. And we're just going to start adding in information. And I'm going to walk through this. And this is from your first assignment. And I'm just going to walk you through. And I'm going to do this for all the assignments today. We're just going to walk through and kind of do them. And I'm going to do the other one and do the other one. For everybody that knows, these sessions are recorded. And then they're going to be posted on YouTube. And the link is going to be put into the session. So you can rewatch anything you need to rewatch at any time. So don't worry that you're like, oh my God, he did it. And I didn't have it open. I didn't see what was going on. No. I want to have it. So like we do it on YouTube so you can have it on your phone. You can work on your laptop, whatever it may be, but you have a way to like rewatch and re-see everything I've done. And I'm going to try to go slower than I normally do. I'm kind of a fast talker. I get excited. I'm like, and then you do this and then but I'm going to try to slow it down. All right. First project, the print document. So you can go on print. It really doesn't matter, but you can hit this print button. And then it needs to be in inches. And it's 4 inches by 4 inches. All right. Don't get ahead of me though. Then we're going to set up bleed. Bleed is on a document. It's an extra area beyond the artboard. So you're going to create a 4-inch by 4-inch artboard, and the artboard is where your art goes. Bleed is an indicator to a printer that goes beyond the artboard. And we'll talk about this more in the future. I don't want to, today's not the day to get into big detail, but I'll teach you why we do bleed and what bleed's for. And you'll learn about it in 103 and some other courses with me. But yeah, we'll get to there. So width 4 inches, height 4 inches, bleed is 1/4 inch, and that's 0.25. And this is all in the assignment. Then we're going to scroll down. See that scroll? And then I'm going to click on more settings. And what we're going to do here is, one, you can name it here, just leave it. You'll name it later. Is the number of artboards you are going to create is 3. So I'm just going to type in 3. Now, these weird items is how they're laid out. And I want you to lay it out horizontally. This is just an arrow going across. And I want them 1 inch apart from each other. So, and again, create 3 artboards in a horizontal row, spaced 1 inch apart from each other. And it seems like a lot of stuff, but watch when I hit create document. Kapow, they're all there. Perfectly spaced, lovely. The red line, that's your bleed. And then the black line is the artboard. The white is the artboard. This gray stuff is beyond the artboard. It won't show up when printing. It's like your free space to have fun in a little bit. So we have 3 little artboards created. And as you can see, it's 1, 2, and 3. Now, what I would like you to do is, this is the Illustrator setup. We have information up at the top. That's the context bar. So you can go to window or control, excuse me. And that's the control bar. I can make it hide, or I can show it. I always have it up. I've had it up since I've started working in Illustrator. They now put a lot of stuff in other areas, but you know, old dogs, you know, like I've been using it that way. And even though it's redundant, I'd rather have redundancy than like looking for stuff. So up at the top is the control bar. And that has information. More information will come up when we start actually doing stuff. Now this left one, and it may look like this when you get it, they double it up. But when we're working with tiny screens, I think it's better to have it tiny or like in a line, because you want as much room here to design as possible. So if I can get rid of a 1/2 inch, that's a 1/2 inch more room I have. And it just makes working on projects more comfortable. So there's this little tiny double arrow at the top, and all I do is click that. Now your toolbar may look a little different. It may say something like basics, or you know, it may have words on it. It's all the same. And over time, you can modify this and change it and take out things you don't use. And I'll go over this in the future. Like if we do it all now, we'd never get anything done. But there's ways you can change things. There's this little bar up here. You can go to advanced or change it to basic, getting started. I think it's probably for a lot of you, it's getting started and it has words on there, and it may help you out. So no worries there, but you need the toolbar. And I want to say 90% of all designers just have that toolbar on the left. And some people double it up, some people don't. You get in the customizations the more you use it. So there we are. Layers. Now, if layers aren't showing, you can go to Window, and then you find Layers, and you click on it. If there's a check mark, it means it's showing. Now, layers are like pieces of glass. And if you've taken Photoshop, you know about layers. Layers are these pieces of glass that, like, if I draw on layer 1, and then I have a second layer, this layer 2 is actually on top of layer 1. And then I can have hundreds of layers, but they're stacked up like pieces of glass. And each piece of glass can have artwork on it, and they stack and they stack and they stack. And you say like, well, but why would I do that? Well, when we get to the design mission, you'll see why. is you can separate your illustration into parts. You can have a background, then you can have like, I have in that project coming up, I have stars on one and then dark stars in another. And it helps you stay organized when you're working on a project. So I'm going to delete that. But for a small working space, I highly suggest you put layers on one side because we're always going to have layers open. You're always going to be using layers. And on the other side, one of the best new inventions by Adobe is the properties panel. And if that's not showing, you again just go down to properties. And you click on it and it'll show up, and you can move these guys. You just drag them. Like if it shows up over there, kind of move it until you see blue happen, and then it goes in and you can move those around. So like if properties shows up over here, it's, you know, it's like all this space. You just grab that properties, and then like at some point a blue may have to be up here. See how it's blue on that edge? If I go there, it pops it in. I like have gone like in the years of working in Illustrator, I used to have a whole screen dedicated to every one of these panels. They're called panels. They came out with properties, and once they did that, you never have to do anything else. Like I don't need anything else open because everything shows up here, and as you work, this changes. So if you're working with type, all the type stuff automatically comes out. If you're working with shapes, all the shape stuff comes out. So it's pretty amazing. And this is all you need. So when you're working at home, here, or wherever, I would start to set up your file as that you have layers on the left, properties on the right. Now I can see somebody in the classroom and they have their screen. It is, they're working like this. Their Illustrator thing is floating in the middle. Have Illustrator be the entire screen. How do you do that? You can just double click on the top bar and it makes it the full size. Don't cheat yourself out of room to see when this is all you're like, this is all you need to work on. Like make it as big as you can. You know, don't like work on projects and be like, you have it like this big and you're trying to work on stuff and you're like all this dead room. Like this is like your canvas. It should be as big as possible. Sorry, I'm jumping around there with that. All right. So that's how I would set it up. You have your control bar at the top, your tools down the side, your layers on the left, your properties on the right. Are you going to downgrade if you don't do this? No, it's personal preference. You can have them stacked. You can use a second screen, whatever you're comfortable with. But I have found over the years and with the new setups that Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop have come up with, that I've now just in the past year set up, I have layers on one side, properties on the other. And if I need to, I add a little panel behind. But this is like 90% of what I use all the time to do everything. So it just kind of makes it easy, clear. And then the reason we do this and the reason we don't do this, you're gonna, because I see this too. Character, paragraph, type. I see this all the time, where these are just floating, and then you're like you're always moving them, like, and then like, and then I'm moving it here, and I want to work over here, and then I got to move these over here. You don't need these anymore. You just close those. Just have everything locked on one side, locked on the other. It's not going to go anywhere, and then you can use your artboards in the middle. So I set up these first three. They're 4 inches by 4 inches. They have a 1/4 inch of bleed. And then we're going to make a margin. Now, a margin is a mark on the inside of each of these, and that shows important space. We put a margin on all designs because anything outside of the margin may get lost in the design print system. And so we set stuff up that if it's important, it doesn't go past the margin. because we don't know. There might be a shift when printing and cutting and like all this stuff. And so it's like a little safety area. If you're working in a magazine, you know, or a book, that spine of the book, you know how it creases down? If you didn't have a margin, what happens? You put words all the way to the edge of the paper. Well, you wouldn't be able to read them. They'd be squished in that glue seam. So we create a margin. And I'm going to start with this layer 1 here. And I'm just going to double tap on the name layer 1. And I'm going to type in margin. I have labeled my first layer. Easy. Now we're going to make some margins. And I'm going to keep it large because I'm going to show you a little bit off of what I have exactly in the assignment, but it's going to be nice and easy. Now we need to draw a box. So down this side, a lot of the time we're going to use the select tool. This is for grabbing major objects. The one below it is called direct select. That's for selecting parts of objects. So these are used all the time. Then we have the lasso tool. We'll get to that. We have a pen tool. We'll get to that sometime. We will work with the type tool today. So this is the type tool. Now, something you'll notice is these little triangles sticking out, that if I click and hold that, more stuff pops up. So I'm on that tool. I click and hold, more stuff pops up. We're only going to be worrying about just the standard T right now. And somewhere below that is going to be a square. Or if I hold down on that, it may be one of these symbols. We are going to work with the rectangle for now. You just click on it, click. And when I move over here, I get a cursor. And then I'm going to click and drag. But I'm not going to let go. One fundamental part of working with Illustrator is holding down the shift button. The shift constrains. And so I want to make a perfect square. So I'm going to hold down shift. And I'm going to pull it to the size I need. But I'm going to get it close, but not exact. So now that I have that drawn, I am going to make some changes. So I'm just going to simply leave that. I haven't clicked again. There's a big mistake that happens. Don't click more than you need to. I've run it. A lot of people do that. Like something's not working, she starts clicking more and it just makes more problems. So I drew a square somewhat in the middle, but nothing's perfect. But we're going to make it perfect. First, I'm going to go over here. Now, the margin is supposed to be 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So if I just click on this, I can type in 3.5, and I'm going to hit the tab key on my keyboard. I'm speeding things up. And then I'm going to hit 3.5. And what that did is that made this box exactly 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not touching that box yet. Because now I'm going to change the fill and the stroke. So just write down in properties, write on down. I'm going to click on that white box for fill. And under swatch tiles, there's this one in the very front, and it's a red line. That means no fill. It won't do any. It's clear. It makes it a clear box. So I'm going to click on that. Then for stroke, I'm going to go on this top line, and I'm going to pick magenta. Why magenta? It is the industry standard color for a margin. It's just industry standard. People see it, they know it. Oh, that's the margin. It's not going to show up when it prints. Great. So, and then right here, I'm going to make sure my stroke is 1 point exactly. So 3.5, 3.5, no fill, that red stripe, magenta stroke, 1 point. We're almost done. We're not quite there yet. Then right here is a line. I want it perfectly centered on the artboard. All I have to do is click this one, and it's going to center it, and then this one. That artboard is now perfectly centered on that artboard. Without touching it, without going back here, I want you to go up to, and you can do this if you know the key commands like copy and paste, They are universal, and you should learn it. It's like Control C or Command C, like learn, copy, and paste. But if I go to edit and copy, and then there's the key command, and then I'm going to go to edit and paste on all artboards, it pasted my margin exactly centered on all 3 artboards without me doing a thing. And to close that out, I'm going to go up to this little hamburger menu. It's the 3 lines. It's called a hamburger menu. Yes, it's a bun, hamburger, bun. Yeah, some design nerds in the early days termed that the hamburger menu. I'm going to simply click on that, and all the way down at the bottom is template. And I'm going to click template. That changed my icon to a little rectangle, and it locked it. That means that these will only show to me, and they won't print. It's a template, and we're done. We did the margin. We're going to make another square. We're going to make some crop marks. So I'm going to go down and all the way at the bottom. And don't worry, we're going to do this twice today. I'm going to click the plus. I'm going to double click on where it says layer 2, and I'm going to call it crop marks. And we are going to follow almost the same procedures as we already did. And don't worry, you're going to do this twice, you're going to do this like 4 to 6 times a week. So it's just going to be second nature to you. You're going to look at my instructions, and you're going to be like, boom, 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 done. And this is just how we set up every time. So crop marks. Now for crop marks, you need to draw a box the exact size of the document. So I'm just going to go to this corner, and when you see magenta like things that says endpoint or lines point, that means it's locking in. And I'm just going to pull and drag, and I'm going to hold down shift. See at the bottom, mine says a little shift, and that constrains it. And you get it as perfect as you can. I'm a little bit off, but we're just going to walk down this side again. We're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to do 4, because this is a different size. This is create a crop marks layer. Then I'm going to do 4. Now for this one, this is going to be a little crazy. The fill is going to stay at nothing, but the stroke now we're changing to nothing. So I basically created a box that has nothing on it until we see this little FX. See that FX? You know, it's like the channel FX. This, you can add effects to your stuff. But third one down is crop marks. And when I click on that, it automatically adds what are called crop marks to the design. See those? Now I back out, and I'm not touching anything again, right? I haven't touched any squares. And then I just want to make sure it's aligned perfectly. So I'm going to click on center and center on align. What I'm doing is I'm having the computer do like a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't have to create the crop marks. I don't have to create anything. I don't have to sit there and try to make sure it's perfectly centered. It just is. Oh, you know, I forgot to do something. I have to go back. I forgot a step. I got it so excited. But we'll continue on with the crop marks. Now it's just the same thing. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste on all artboards. And there we have 3 artboards with margins set up and crop marks set up. Now, mistakenly, I forgot one step in the margin setup, and that's creating some guides. So right now you can see there's nothing surrounding my working panel. What I'm going to do is go to View, and I'm going to go all the way down, and you'll see rulers, and I want you to show rulers. That brings up some rulers along both sides. And what you can do is pull guides. I call pulling guides. So I'm going to go up to the ruler, and you see how it changed from a magnifying glass to an arrow? And now I can click and drag. I'm holding down on my click, and I'm going to pull that down until it centers out. See that it says midpoint, and it's telling me I'm halfway through, and then I'm going to let go. And that tells, that cyan line is cut every artboard, so I know the exact half of it. And I'm on the margin layer, so I had to unlock it. So it's either locked or unlocked. If it's locked, I can't do anything. I'm locked out from doing it. See, it says you can't do anything. But if I unlock it, I can. So make sure you're going to learn about unlocking and locking layers. And now I'm going to pull a guide for each one across. So I'm going to click and drag from the ruler to the first one, and it snaps in place for me. It's beautiful. Like when you get close, it's a snap, and it seems kind of odd. I did that one terrible, but it snaps in place. And if you mess something up, go to Edit, Undo, or Command Z. I hope all of you have some computer knowledge of that one as well. You know, working in Word or whatever, copy and paste and undo are universal when it comes to computers and setting things up. And there we have those all set up. Now I'm going to make one more layer, and I'm going to go to that plus. I'm going to double click on the name of the layer, and I'm going to call it type. And I'm going to bring it all the way to the bottom. So what that means is if I grab, not the word, but if I grab in the gray, I can move these around and change the order of those layers of glass. And for the most part, you always want the margin and the crop marks on the very top layer, and then other stuff below it. So now I have the type layer, and I have it unlocked, and I'm going to keep it unlocked. Now what you're going to do is you have been given 3 words. The word half. Let me pull this off. Half, stolen, and shrink. So you're going to have 1 word per artboard. You're going to use a sans serif bold typeface. And for each word, you're going to create a typographic treatment that defines the word. I'll get into this more. So you're going to design the words and like keep it simple. But we're going to work on this one, the notes. This is next. And I'm going to just take you through this, and then we'll move on. So I will do one of these and then leave you to learn and do the rest. Again, you can rewatch this, so that allows me to move on to the other parts. Otherwise, we're going to run over on time. But let's start with half. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to do a 1-second teaching about serif and sans serif, so we can keep moving. Serif and sans serif. You're going to hear that if you're not in typography. The basic, like, lowest denominator between types of fonts is serif or sans serif. And then from there, it goes nuts. Like, and you'll learn that in typography. But a serif font has these little legs and stuff on it, little cute endings. It's Times New Roman, Georgia Garamond. You know, like, it's a little more elegant. Sans serif is fat, and not always fat, but it's very linear. There's no like little off parts on it. So you can have a serif or a sans serif font. I want you to use a sans serif font. All right. And you're going to take the type tool. You are going to click, and then you are going to type half. You can do it uppercase, lowercase, both cases, whatever. I'm going to do all uppercase, H-A-L-F. So I use the type tool. I clicked once. I'm only going to click once. I'm not drawing a box. That creates what we call point text. Now that's really tiny and I need it bigger. Well, if I zoom in on it and I use my select tool up here, I can grab a corner and I always hold down shift. Never don't hold down shift. When you make things bigger, always hold down shift. Your hand should always be hovering on shift on the keyboard. And for this assignment, you know what? I was like, I wanted to use something different. I'm going to use this. I've got a big, fat half, right? Big, chunky letters, and it says half. How do I do anything to this? Well, once you get this typed out, and this is where you do characters, you can change the type of the font over here on character, or if you have it selected, highlighted, just like you would do in a Word document or emails, like you select type the same way. You just have to have the type tool, and you can change the font, change it, you know, whatever you may want, sans serif. But now I'm going to do something funky. I'm going to outline the type. So you'll never be able to like adjust it again. So I'm going to go to type and create outlines. So that made it so no longer is it type, it's shapes. So I can't type it anymore. It's no longer a type. And then what I'm going to do, and this is the notes sections. We typed out the word. We outlined the type, going to type and create outlines. And then we're going to ungroup it. And we go object, ungroup. Now I'm going to click off on the side and I have my selection tool. Now I can grab and click and drag the H wherever I want. And I click and drag the A wherever I want. And so now I can create a thing. And if I were to like do half, how about that? Like half is up, half of the word is here, and half of it's down here. Now I want you to learn about zooming as well. Zoom in and out as you need. Don't work like this and say, I have to have everything in one area. Use the magnifying glass at the bottom to zoom in. Bring things up close. And to move around, like say, like this is low. At any point of the design process, I can hit the space bar and move the artboards around. I'm holding down the space bar, and when I click, hold, and drag, I can move things around. It moves the view around, not items around. So I am constantly, my hands on shift, my hands hovering above shift. I'm constantly hitting the space bar because I can just like grab and move, and I'm gonna work on this one. I'm gonna grab and move and work on this one. And then the way you move letters is around, you know, and then you can move your letters around. So you're gonna be using the select tool, the magnify tool, and the type tool on this first one. You have the three words, like there's an example of half. You have stolen and what's the other one? Shrink. And you can do anything with these letters. These letters are shapes. So you can move them, you can delete them, you can make them smaller. Always hold down shift. You can make them bigger. You can rotate if I grab the corner. So there's a million things you can do. And what I want you to do is start just kind of playing with that. Playing with the select tool, the magnify tool, and the type tool. So on this is really all you need to start messing around. You can overlap them. That was kind of cool. You know, you can move them, but I'm always like, if you want it to move in a straight line, you hold down shift. Whenever you size it, you hold down shift. So it stays, because I don't want you to start doing like weird, you know, like too soon to start doing weird stuff like that. Let's keep things in proportion and really understand that holding shift is going to be your best friend. Any questions on this first one? And remember, all this is recorded. You watch it again. and I'm going to go through the second and third project, and I'm going to speed up on 2 so I can get through 3. This will take us right up until 2 o'clock. Hopefully, maybe even a minute over. I don't know. All right. So that's that first one. So we actually did the entire project. Second assignment is typographical challenges, and it starts the same way, where you're going to create a document with 3 pages. But in this one, you're going to do a little composition, 3 little compositions that include a title, some body copy, the author's name, and an image from the internet of the book cover. And I'll show you all to do that. And then we'll get to the final one, which is recreating something I created using only shapes. All right, so I'm just going to move that aside. I'm going to click on the home button. Oh, and then you go to File, and you need to save your work. So you go to File, you can hit Save As, and you save it. The naming is, I always have a name on it. Let me go back. And there's 2 things, and you can follow the saving out part. So save it as, and my name, it's JSKAJ. Oops, come on. JSKAJA. And then it's underscore EXP01. And then I save that, and I hit OK. And then I'm going to export this as 2 PDFs. And this is just going to be standard, and the directions are all here as well. But I will do it. The first one, we're going to do to File, Export, Export As. It will remember the name. The format is PDF. So that is right below it. I've saved the JPEG. I'm going to hit Export. Now there's some saving ones. This one is for, the first one says Client. So I'm going to go to following the client. I'm going to Adobe PDF preset to smallest file size. I'm going to make sure I have View PDF after saving clicked. And then I'm going to go to Marks and Bleeds, and I'm going to make sure nothing is clicked here. And then I'm going to hit Export PDF. And as you can see, it exported the PDF. Here's the cool part. It's 3 pages. All 3 pages are there for you. I only have something on the first page, so it's hard to see. And that's how you export the PDF the first time. And then you're going to do it. You're going to do it twice. So you're going to do a File, Export, Export As, and this would be for print. And then so you have to change the name to Press, Export, and I'm going to go to Press Quality. I'm going to make sure View PDF after saving is on. And for Marks and Bleeds, I'm going to hit Trim Marks and use Document Settings, Export PDF, and here you have it. So that has the crop marks and everything on it, and it has the 2 other pages. I'm speeding through that because now I feel like I'm running out of time. All right, let's create the next one. File, New. All right, so then I'm going to go to Print. I'm going to always work in inches, never points. You'll get really messed up if you work in points. It's going to be too small. Now this one, I'm going to go much quicker. So the document says create a document that is 5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. 1/4 inch of bleed. So I just select this and it go 0.25. If I hit Tab, it populates all of them. Scroll down to more settings. I want 3 artboards. I want them 1 inch apart. In a horizontal row, not stacked, in a horizontal row. And there we go. That should all look good. And I'm going to hit Create Document. And there we have that. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a margin. Margin. I typed it in there by double clicking on the word. I'm going to draw a box that is, and I'm just going to type it in over here because it can be exact over there. It's 4.5, tab 5.5, enter. So it made my box. My fill, nothing. my stroke, magenta, and 1 point. So that 1 point, that's the thickness. And then I'm going to line it in the center and the center. And there's my margin. I'm going to go to, you can copy, copy there. I did quick keys and then edit and paste on all artboards. I'm going to go to view, rulers, show rulers. I'm going to pull one from the top down until it locks in at the midpoint. I'm going to go 3 across. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one is bad, so I undo it. All right. Now that's that. I lock that. I'm going to create a new layer, call it crop marks. Then I'm going to do that. I'm going to draw a box. It's 5 by 6. The fill is nothing. The stroke is nothing. I'm going to go to FX, crop marks. I'm going to make sure it's perfectly centered. Oh, I did jump it over there. Well, that's all right. Then I'm going to go to copy and then paste on all artboards. And I have a crop marks on all my artboards, and I can lock that. Then I'm going to make more layers this time. So we are going to create a layer called body copy. Body copy is the fancy term for paragraphs, a lot of text, called body copy. I'm going to create a layer called title author. Sorry, misspelling. And then I'm going to create a layer called image. All right. And that's the one we have to get. So to start out, we'll do title and author, and we're going to use the type tool again. But what we can do is to make life easy. The title is Moby Dick. So I'm going to just copy that directly from Blackboard. I have the type tool. I'm going to click once, and I'm going to paste. And there it is. You can make it whatever size you want. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the author. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the type tool. I'm going to click once, and I'm going to paste. There's Herman Melville. And then I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to make it bigger just so I can see it. There's the title and author. And then you're going to be moving these around and making little design and then you can copy and paste these across. Once it's in the system, you can use it over and over. The body copy. Now this is where I'm going to change things up on you. For the type, instead of a click, I'm going to have you click and drag and make a box. And then you can copy and paste all of this in there. So it's just in Blackboard. You can just grab it all. And I'm going to copy. And then with that still selected, you should be able to hit paste. And there it goes. And then the image. So to make things quicker right now for you is then you can grab all of this. And then you can go copy, paste, move that up. Oh, I don't want you to do it that way. Never mind what I said. I want you to lock any layers and only work on one layer. And then you can copy, paste, move those on, and then copy, paste, and move them on. And you can play around. Do the same with the body copy. Copy, paste. Copy, paste. Now, working with the body copy is a little different. So because it's a square, I can change it. But if I make it smaller, see how the type becomes a column. And that little red plus at the bottom means that I have type that's not there. So if I wanted to see all the type, I can pull it down and then I can see more. And you can make it skinny, you can make it, you know, if you make it wide, the text all goes up there. Nothing should go beyond that pink margin line when you're designing. And you can change fonts and styles over here. You can make it real big. You can make it real small. Play around in this area, character. You're changing the character. And then for the final one, the image, I want you to just go online. And you can do a Google search. Moby Dick book cover. Click on images. Go to tools, size, large. And then you can click on one of them that you think looks cool. I'm going to just simply hover over this. I'm going to right click. You can copy the image. And then on the image layer, you can go to edit, paste. Now my image came out really big, so I need to zoom out. So I can go to view and you can zoom out. You can hit command minus. You can scrubby zoom with this, with the magnifying glass. But the image acts just like anything else. And I want it smaller, so I'm going to grab a corner. I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm going to make it smaller. And then I'm going to adjust the titles, the name, and everything to eventually come up with little compositions similar to this. I'm just going to show you. What? Oh, I went into mission 9. Where are they? Oh, I just had some. Oh. Well then. They showed up on a different computer. All right, never mind. So you will do little compositions. I'll do this. I got 8 minutes, and then we'll do the last project. So I'm going to go backwards. So set things up in little compositions. So I have everything unlocked, and you can work however you want. So if I would say, like, my first one, I'll just kind of like keep the text like that. I will do Moby Dick. Let's, instead of just regular, I'm going to go to bold, and I'm going to make it big. I'm holding down shift every time I change stuff. And then say I got this image in the corner, but the text is on top of the image. So I have to make my text smaller. Well, you can't make it smaller by moving that box. You have to go over here and make it like smaller that way. And I just want you to play around. And then you can, you know, if you have questions while playing, you can, you know, reach out to me. And like, there's one. Not, you know, I might this even bigger. Now if I go, you know, then again with this, I can copy and paste that. Make sure you lock your layers when you copy and paste. I'll teach you a new thing in the future about paste remember layers. But then what about, like, so there's simple. I'm just learning. I'm just trying to make things, you know, whatever. It doesn't, I'm not looking for, you know, the best thing in the world. I just want to know that you figured out how to do type, add stuff, and look around. This one you could do, what if I did the same, or, you know, like, I'm going to find something bigger, and I'm going to do something crazy, and I'm going to rotate that so it's going vertical. And I'll make it, again, I don't ever go past those margins. And then I'll move Herman Melville down here next to the book, or maybe, you know, put the book up here and then have this text here like this. And again, I see that red plus. That means I have to make the text smaller. There you go. I'm going to bring it in even more. I don't want it touching the Y. So all this stuff. And then I can do this cool, you can do this cool thing, is to select more than one thing. I can click and drag across a bunch of things and then use this alignment and then move it all over. That could be another little composition, right? And what if I, you know, then what if I line these up? This and this, and I'm going to do a totally different font because I'm just going to play around. Oh, I kind of hate that kind of stuff. There, we'll do that. And then I have this, they're off center. But here, when I click on them, oh, it was just down low. The align kind of moved down because it put in character here. So everything is still here in properties. But if I click this, it centers them up. And then I can keep those and work with those at the same time, just because I have both selected. And then I'll move this here and do this. You don't have to, and when you're doing this, like, don't do what I did. Play around, try some things out, do something crazier. Again, it's just practice. It's just the more you kind of do some of these things, the more practice you get. Try some weird stuff out. 1.5. So I'm typing in there, you can make half size. Still not big enough. But in there. And then you're going to do the exact same thing with that saving and exporting. And it shows how it, I went over it once. You're just going to do that with all the projects. So there's that one. Have some fun. Again, reach out to me. Thank goodness this is starting on a Wednesday. It gives you the whole weekend, and I'll be around. You can reach out to me over the weekend, be like, having trouble here, I'm not understanding this, but just kind of breathe. Know you have a long time to kind of roll in, and that a lot of stuff we repeat in the future. So you'll be doing this assignment again, but with a different book and different sizes and the same words. All right. Where did it go? There we go. Final assignment. Design mission. For this one, you click on it, click the view instructions, and what you are going to do is do what I did. I have a file. It's here. You're going to click that link. It is a zipped document. You're going to download it to your computer. This little arrow with this is download. And then you're going to go to wherever it downloads on your personal computer. And for Mac, you can double click on it. For PC, you right click and extract all. You just double click on it. And there's going to be two files in here. There's going to be a font, which you should double click on the TTF. And it's going to open up some program, and you can just hit install. And then the other one is the actual lesson. You're going to open that up. Now, it may start to the side. You go to view and go to fit to screen, fit all in window, or, you know, there you go. Now you're going to be like, this is a giant mess. What the heck is he having us do? I don't get anything. You are going to recreate this yourself. Amazingly easy. It's all about shapes and copying and pasting. So you're going to create one shape and just copy and paste, copy and paste. This is what it looks like there. This is what you're going to create. So I have down here at the bottom, there's 1,000 layers here. You're like, whoa, well, I have my margin, just like we always do. I have crop marks, just like we always do. Off to the left, I have color swatches. In here, This is everything you might need to use and the indicator of how to use it for this project. You may not even need all of these, but it's written like, okay, these are the exact things that you'll need. Arranging, bring front to back. The arrow keys is for nudging. Color swatches are up there. Copy and paste. The direct select tool. Duplicate. Like all of this we're going to learn, and it's going to be way easier than you think. And you're probably only going to use half of these. So how do we go about this? You know, we're going to start? We're going to start simple, right? We're going to start the easiest. Let's do this tan background in the background. So the reason I have these two copy image and it says outline and a color image. The outline just shows you like, how did he create that? And you can simply see that everything is a shape of some sort. And this dark stuff is text. And it allows you to line some things up as well. So you can turn those eyeballs on and off as needed as you're going through this. And then you're going to be locking and unlocking layers as we go. So the background, if I look at this and if I turn off the outline one, and I'm going by looking at these little thumbnails, the background is this color, right there. So I'm just going to draw a big old rectangle, color it like that, and we have one layer done. How do I do that? I'm going to go to the rectangle. I'm going to make sure I am only on the background layer. It's blue. It changes the blue. I'm on it. It's unlocked. I have a rectangle. I'm going to go to that edge, and I'm going to click and drag across. Then I'm going to use this magic tool. This guy right here, it's called an eyedropper. And it's used for sampling colors or text. If I click on that, and my box is still, I haven't untouched my box. I drew my box and I went right to the eyedropper. And then see the crosshairs? I'm going to go on that color right to that edge, and I'm going to click once. And it colored my box that exact same color. I'm done. Layer one, background is done. And I can just turn off that eyeball so I can see something else. You're just drawing a big rectangle. You're using the eyedropper to make that rectangle the same color, these swatches. And when you see that hand come up, see that high five? I'm holding down my space bar. So that's an indication of what is he doing? That's space bar. And when I click and drag, see it makes a fist? I'm grabbing it and I'm moving it. And I'm constantly zooming in, zooming out, grabbing and moving. So you did layer one. We did layer one. Look at that. You did it. It's just a rectangle. Let's next do something easy as well. So we're going to move around. Stripes. What does stripe mean? It's these 4 stripes at the bottom. The 4 stripes are literally 4 rectangles. So I can zoom in. And I'm going to make one rectangle. I'm going to make sure I am on my right layer. It is blue. And I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm just going to do it that size, okay? And it's not long enough yet. It doesn't need to be. Because what we're going to do is draw the 4 and then make them all the same size at the same time. It's crazy. So I'm going to go to my selection tool. Now, if I hold down Shift and Option, if I hold down Shift and click and drag this, I can move this up and down, and Shift constrains it. It's really, where am I? Shift. Oh, I got it off. It makes it harder to change where it's at. It constrains it. Then if I hit Shift, what? Hold on. Something's going wrong. Oh, Shift. If I hit Shift and Option at the same time while dragging, see how there's that little other arrow? And if I let go of Option, it goes away. And if I click it, it comes in. I'm holding down Shift. I'm holding down on my mouse button, and I just drag down. So I can drag it down, but that little extra arrow says I'm making a copy of that. And then when I let go of the button, it created a copy of that. And then here's the crazy part again. So I have a copy of that. If I go to Object and Duplicate, where's Duplicate? It's Command D. Distribute. Oh, I don't know where it is in these. Because I just do Command D, Control D, Command D. It will duplicate it, Command D. It makes a second one. And I have that written over here in the instructions. And I'm going to hit Command D again. So if I back out, it's all in alphabetical order. Shift and Alt for duplicate or distribute. So duplicate, Command D, Control D. It's different on a PC than it is a Mac. You'll see it happen. So now I have these, and it's actually 4 color bars. Now we can do what we just did with the background. I'm going to use the swatch, the eyedropper, and color each one. So I grab the first one, go to the eyedropper, and I'm going to click on the color bar. Then I'm going to go to the select tool, select the second one, go to the eyedropper, and click on the darker one. I'm going to go to the select tool, select the third one, eyedropper, green, select tool, click on the rectangle, eyedropper, and fourth color. I have all those colored now. Now what I'll do is grab them all. So I'm going to click and drag around them all. And I can just pull. I can see how the double arrow, and I can just pull those across. And I made those stripes. If I zoom out and if I turn off my example and turn on the background, we already have that part done. So the stripes is just squares or rectangles pulled. What can we work on next? Let's do the equalizer. Those little, those rectangles. I'm going to start in the middle and work out, because the middle is the tallest one. And then I can just copy and paste and then delete. It's crazy. And again, so far you've made 4 rectangles, and now you're just going to make a bunch more rectangles. So I'm zooming in. I use the zoom tool. You get nice and close. I'm on the equalizer. It's unlocked and it's in blue. And I'm going to create 1 rectangle. It doesn't matter at this point the color of the rectangle, but it is the size of the image. Now, I'm going to drag that up, holding Shift and Option, or Shift and Alt. I drag that up, and I'm just making copies. Click, Shift, Option. You'll see those you change. And now if I do Command or Control D, I can just have them automatically pop up. And I'm going to go all the way up to the top. And all I'm doing is duplicating. Command D, Command D, Command D. Let's see. No, that's not it. That's just Command D. So then if for some reason, oh, I need one more. Your bars are off, which happened to me. You know, like all you need to do is make sure that the top one is perfect and the bottom one is perfect. These can be a little bit wonky. Then I'm going to hold down and I'm going to select all of them. And then under Align, see these 3 dots? I'm going to click all the way here, distribute spacing, and it's going to make sure that all of the spacing in between each one of those is perfect. Now I'm going to move over so I can see my color. We're going to colorize these correctly. So I'm going to grab the bottom row. So you can grab all these, click and drag. And then I'm going to go to the eyedropper tool, click green. Those are all done. I'm going to grab the second grouping, change these to orange, eyedropper, click done. The top three are already correct. I have one row done. Guess what we're going to do to fill this out? Copy and paste. Like, it's that easy. So I'm going to, those are always grabbed. I'm going to hit shift and option. I'm going to drag to the left. And then I'm going to duplicate. Command or Control D. Command or Control D. I'm going to grab all of these. Shift it to the right. Command or Control D. Command or Control D. Now we have too many, right? Let's just get rid of what we don't need. So you can select as many as you want and just hit delete until you get too far, which is there, and I need one back. So if I need one back, I can go to Edit, Undo Clear, and it puts it back. This one, we just delete what we don't need until we go too far, and undo. Delete, undo, and that's all we're doing. That one, I think this one stays. Yeah. So far, you've just been creating rectangles. Everything is built out of shapes. Delete. And we're just going down. Oh, undo. All right. Now we have the stars and the speakers. Again, shapes. So I'll start with the light stars. There's a stars, it's called light, and it's actually going to be the same for both. It's kind of funky. It's the same for both. And they're just different sizes, different colors and different sizes. So if you hold down the rectangle tool, I'm going to be on stars light. That is highlighted. It's unlocked. And I'm going to hold down, and there's a star tool. Hold down on the rectangle, find the star tool, and then you can draw a star. And I usually hit shift and option when I draw. It draws out from the center. But then you're like, Joel, that's 5 sides, not 4? What are you messing with me for? I'm not messing with you. See this thing on the side? If I drag this up or down, it changes how many there are. I want 4. All right? We want 4-sided. Now, if you look closely, there's other things on this. There's a white circle that if I click on that, I can bring the inner in to match the drawing I have there. All right? Then, if I go back out, I want to make this bigger. I'm going to hold down shift and option and get that good. And then I can reduce the size of that middle. It's always editable. And then I want to move it. I want to move that star around. See how that's happening? You know what I'm clicking on? The arrow keys on my keyboard. So you can nudge things with the arrow keys on your keyboard. Now that that's done, we're going to get fancy. So I clicked off of this. And what we're going to do is click on the direct select arrow, and we're going to modify this a little bit. And I'll go to the bottom first. And I'm going to slowly come near the tip, and boom. See it, like something happens here? And I'm going to click and drag and hold down shift. And I can pull out that star. And I'm going to click and drag and hold shift and pull out that one as well. And so now I have that set up. And we just do it the same way. I'm going to do the same thing again. Going to make a new star. Start in the center. I'm going to go a little quicker. I'm going to shift an option. I'm going to pull it out to approximate size. I'm going to move this to 4. I'm going to bring this in. And then I'm going to grab the edge. I may have to go back here. And I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to hold down shift when I rotate, because shift constrains it. And there we have one of the stars. All I need to do is group that now. So grouping means it'll take the two shapes and make one. Object, group. And now I can change the color of that to the light color. And I'm not going to do this for all of them. It needs to be selected. Do that eyedropper, make it the light color. And if I turn on my example, then I can just grab this. Oh, it's actually lighter. See how it's lighter than that? Oh, how does he get it lighter? This is how, folks. I'm going to go to the fill, and I'm going to click on the palette, and I believe it's 75. And I'm going to type in 75. So that moved the tint down to 75. And now I can copy and paste and put these wherever they need to go and resize them as needed. You know, like this one's smaller. You just hold down the corner, hold down shift, and align it to where it needs to be. For the big stars, I'm going to copy. I'm going to go to the dark stars layer. I'm going to paste. Move one up there. I'm going to click on that darker, not the darkest orange, but a dark orange. And then I just have to change the size of it. So placing the stars is all about only creating one star and then copying and pasting it and resizing it wherever you need it. I got one over here. Copy, paste. Put it over there. I got one over there. Copy, paste. Put it over there. You know, and then it's the same with the small ones. Just make sure you're working on the correct layers. Final piece, 13 minutes. We're going to do a speaker. For the stereo, you've already learned how to do typography. For the stereo, all you're going to do is type out and colorize it. So you're going to hit, I'll do this in 1 minute. Type out, it says stereo. Then hit return. Stereo lo-fi. I'm gonna make it bigger. Now, for the character, you installed the font earlier, so it should show up in Illustrator. If I type under the character name stereo, there it is. And then I can just put it in place. You don't have to do the shadowing. We're running out of time. I want to show you how to do the speaker. And then we just do the color picker, and we change the color. Now the speaker is circles and rectangles. That's it. The speaker is one thing copied and pasted 4 times. So we're going to go to the star tool now, and we're going to click on ellipse. And I'm going to go in the approximate center, and I'm going to make sure I am on the speakers layer and unlocked. And this is going to involve some back and forth. So I'm going to hold down shift and option, and I'm going to draw a circle the size of the inner circle. All right. It's done. Now I'm going to click off of that. I'm going to draw another circle. And then as you can see, as I go over it, it shows that it wants to be on top of that. And I'm going to draw another one, but further out. And then I'm going to work on this one. Now there's this crazy thing you can do. Over here, right on the corner, when on this bar, there's a little thing, and then a Pac-Man comes up. There's this little dot. And I can pull and drag that Pac-Man and change my circle into a pie piece. And you can do it from both sides. See how fun that is? And it's just like looking for those pie pieces. And we're just going to change the size. And then we're going to change the color. And the color changes, again, we're just going to go down. And I think we're going to go to 75 on the percentage. Then I can copy, edit, paste in place. And I can just rotate that again. Where'd my other one go? What did I do wrong? Edit, copy, edit, paste in place. Why did it go away? Oh, thank you. Copy. Thank you so much. I hit, somebody's like, you hit cut instead of copy. And then, okay. I'll be paste in place. And then when I rotate this one out, it made a duplicate. And I can still adjust the size of it by pulling on those little Pac-Man parts. And I can make that even lighter. I'm going to click on that fill color. It's on the palette. And we're dragging that down to 25. Now, if I edit, paste in place again, I can close that off, make a full circle, and then go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So what that did is you can have layers of glass like the layers, but they work on each layer as well. If you wanted to see it, and you can click on these little arrows and it shows the order here as well. So I want, that ellipse in the background, then it's going to be like 50%. But then I want to move this little, the front, well, I don't know what the comb dome. I can move that up to the top. I should be able to. So that's now at the top. Now I just need one more. So I'm going to click on this top circle. I'm going to go copy, edit, paste in place. I'm going to hit Shift and Option. I'm going to make it the full size of the outer speaker. And I'm going to make that, I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And now you have created one speaker. I'm going to grab all the parts. I'm going to go to Object, Group, and then I'm going to copy, paste. And I'm going to make this one is what? Just a smaller version. I'm going to hold down Shift. Move it up. I'm going to copy, paste. So the crazy part, this just is all just like the same thing over and over and over. And as you get used to doing this kind of work, you realize like you can create anything really by just adding shapes. Copying and pasting, duplicating. It's the same speaker 4 times. You only had to do it once. It makes it seem like I spent hours making 4 speakers, but then I just made one and I copied and pasted. Don't tell anybody my secrets. Finally, let's finish up the speaker. I need to draw a rectangle. How many times have we drawn rectangles now? So it's 3 rectangles. I'm going to draw this one, and then I'll change the color. Don't worry. Go to my hand, and oh, it's just a light version of this color. I think it's 25. I'm going to draw another rectangle, a little bit bigger. This is going to be the darkest one. And I'm going to go all the way out to that edge. Don't worry, this is going to be easy. And then I'm going to make that dark. Now and then I'm going to grab this darkest rectangle, drag it to the right, holding Option and Shift. It's going to be close. And then you can use those arrow keys. Arrow keys nudges it. Now, I'm going to do send it back, or you can rearrange the layers here. I want the rectangle all the way at the back, and I want this rectangle just in front. So I rearranged layers within layers, and all you do is grab the side. You grab and drag, right? Just grab and drag. And then I'm going to squish this all the way to there. And the second to last move, I'm really bringing us to the last minute here. I'm going to go, I have a rectangle. I'm going to do the direct select. I'm going to click on that top corner. Oh, click off, click the top corner and hold down shift. And I'm going to drag it down to match. I'm going to grab this little corner, drag it up. You're going to get confused. The select and the direct select do two different things. The white one is more refined. The dark one is for everything. Now I'm going to grab the entire speaker. I'm going to group it. Grouping means it makes it kind of like one piece, and I can move it all in once. I'm going to copy and paste it. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to hold shift and move it over. Now it's facing the wrong way. Last move. I'm going to hold down this rotate tool, and there's a reflect tool. If I double click on that, did you see what it just did? It just automatically flipped it the way I needed it. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm just going to align it to the margin. And then you can turn on all your, that's what you created. And I just have to like finish my stars. And I've created the entire document. You know how long that took us? Like 30 minutes, not even. All it is rectangles and circles and stars. It's 3 shapes to develop an entire illustration. It seems more complicated than it is. That's why we start with this one. It's just simple shapes and then using some of the funky parts to it. Is there any questions, comments, concerns at this point? All right, so all you know, just like the last kind of comment, I'm going to wrap up with these last 3 minutes. On Wednesdays, I can stay later. I can stay until 3 or 4. On Mondays, though, I do have to leave at 2:15 to get a kid from school. So, but Wednesdays, I can stay late. I can be here early. I'm here at 8:30 on Monday. So if you want to come in early and work with me, I'm here. I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 until 4. I don't have full classes. You can work at these computers as well with me around. I just have a class, and then, it's like half your people are online. It's not full. You just grab a computer and work. So every day but Friday, you can actually work directly with me, work at MATC, work at these great computers, ask me questions. How's this going? What's going on with this? I'm always around. And then you can always ask me questions through message boards, through whatever. These are also recorded. I will post them. It takes about a half an hour for me to post the video. It has to process, and I have to upload it to YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And it'll process, and you can rewatch the video and like backwards shift and see like, what did he do exactly? You have that option available as well. I'm always around. Remember, this is a fast moving class this semester, this half semester, but because I don't have to do the beginning half an hour thing anymore, we'll be rocking and rolling. And it's going to be the same. Each session we meet, he's going to do the type thing first. Boom, boom, boom. Set up 4 documents. Let's play with one. He's going to do the paragraph thing. Boom, boom, boom. Let's work on it. And then I'm going to teach you how to do some kick butt illustration techniques in Illustrator. All right. It's been great. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on Monday. Again, contact me if need be. All right. Bye-bye.